also mention to you is to keep your property that you're living in right now. Um, many, if you refinance, let's talk about, because many want to refinance. If you talk about refinancing, the rates are higher. So I don't know how much lower we can go. So what I would recommend is talking to your lender to find out. Now, if you're in trouble with your mortgage, and many of you are having mortgage issues, this is going to be a great time to sell, as interest rates right now, interest rates are higher, but it's a good time to sell because buyers are looking for properties. Buyers are actively looking, although the payments have gone up now. So there's a few properties we have on the market. Now, what we're going to have to do with those few properties that are on the market is consider reduction in price, because many are having price-wise, when you talk the interest rate, it's creating a higher payment than maybe when you originally purchased or qualified to purchase a home. So at DeVille Realty Group, we work with about 8 or 9 lenders. Don't get discouraged, because as interest rates are rising, so is mortgage, or so is rental rates. So if you're in a rental, your landlord very well could increase the value without any explanation. Until we do something to fix this rental market, it's where it's at. A lot of landlords are not signing a lease. Remember back in the day when they would make you sign a lease or charge you more? Well, right today, they almost don't want to charge a lease because they can increase or do a 6-month and reevaluate at the time. Now, but keep in mind, 702-515-4100. So as the interest rates are, realizing this, that right now, let's say your credit score is at 700 or better, you're looking at about 5.25 with a good interest rate. Now, with a rate that maybe your credit scores are in the low 6s, you're right now about 6.5%. Now, keep in mind, with those numbers, you can still afford a home. The payment's going to be a little bit higher. Maybe in a year you can refinance it to a lower rate. But right now, with the landlords increasing the rentals, you still may want to get into property. And if you're considering selling your home, keep in mind, when selling your property, the time is now. Don't lose your home to foreclosure. We have many. Now, last week we were here with the county recorder, Miss Debbie Conway. And as she mentioned to us on last week, the county recorder is recording 60 to 80 foreclosures a week. Sometimes a little more, but on average, 60 to 80 foreclosures. So if we talk 80 and you got 4 weeks, that's 320 or so foreclosures in the valley. Now, if you're one of the ones that's on that default list, don't allow the bank to threaten you with a foreclosure. And here's the opportunity to sell. Now, what we like to term this is a pre-foreclosure sale. Now, let's help you do that by selling that home and saving that equity. Now, many of you have, let's say, $120 to $340, $50,000 in equity today. How do you receive the equity? How do you get the equity out of your home? It's called selling the home to save the equity. Now, keep in mind, many are doing a refinance cash out, but in order to do that, you have to have a FICO score of at least a 640, 650 or better, depending on the lending institution. Now, for those of you who don't have that credit score, you can't take cash out, but you need to cash out. You can sell that home, right? Get the 100% equity, because although you refinance with the cash out, you're only allowed 80% of your equity. So let's say you need the 100% of equity to move on to your next venture. You're behind in your mortgage. You're on the notice of default. You're getting regularly phone calls that are saying, we have investors who would love to buy your home. And you're wondering, how are they getting your information? Because it's public record. You're on the county recorder's website. So today I can go down and get all those who hit the list today, right? Get a list of those who are on the county recorder website in default. If you are in default, ma'am, sir, young man, young lady, do not lose your home to foreclosure. Right now, the banks are up with the foreclosure process. Now, let me make clear so many of you understand. Although you've been speaking with your bank, right? You've been talking to the bank told you, we're working with you to do a modification. Don't forget that the foreclosure department is different than your bank. That's right. The foreclosure, as an example, may be in Wyoming. The bank you've been speaking to is down here in Arizona. So the foreclosure department, all they do is process foreclosures. That's all they do. So if, with that being said, he's not talking to your bank who's doing modification and trying to help with the forbearance that you worked on 6 months ago. That's fine. But keep in mind, the foreclosure department does not know what you're talking about. The right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. So he's not aware. All they do is process foreclosures. Now, with that being said, take the opportunity to understand your letter that comes in the mail from the foreclosure department has to be open and read for a foreclosure notice. I've had several families that did not open the mail, and guess what happened? They went to foreclosure and sold on the auction day. They're sending you these letters with purpose. Read the mail. Make sure that what is coming in the mail, you're aware of, that there may be a foreclosure sale date on that property. 702-515-4100, or you can contact us by text, 702-787-7559. Again, you can text 702-787-7559. I'm Greg DeVille, DeVille Realty Group. I'm the broker owner at DeVille, along with my lovely wife. We share in getting things done as it relates to real estate, whether buying, selling, or investing. Now, let me speak to those of you who have a home and you have equity. Now, although interest rates are going up, don't let that make you afraid to invest. Please do not hold off from putting something together on investment property. Using the equity that's in your home. Get property that will allow you to have residual income. There are investments out there. Now, many want to do, let's say, the stock market. Some are doing Bitcoin. Whatever your investment is, I'm telling you, real estate by far is one of the greater, it's been around longer, of investment, next to insurance. Now, many have invested in insurance. That's not my platform. But I'm telling you, real estate, definitely, you want to get into real estate. Now, as the interest rates have increased, like I stated earlier, you may want to consider less buying power to bring the payment down. Now, what we're seeing is, now we're not talking about a crash in the market, right? We're talking about lowering the price. The price is going down as far as sellers are readjusting those numbers. Because buyers, since that jump in the increase in price, well, let me give you an example. I took the liberty of writing down some numbers, right? On some numbers for you. Now, let's say you purchase a home. The average or the median home price today is about $455,000. Okay, so let's say at $455,000 at a 6.5% interest rate. Well, that mortgage payment alone is about $2,900, $2,957 to be exact, right? So if you're at $2,900 a month on a 455, well, again, 6.5 depending on your credit score. Now, you may be able to go 5.25 with a better credit score. So that same home with the credit score of 700 or better, 690 or better, let's say at 455, your interest rate is at 5.25. Well, that payment is $2,387. So we're talking about a $600 difference when it comes to the credit score in interest rate. Because remember, the higher risk, the higher the rate. That's why it's very important that you get your credit or stay on top of where you are credit-wise, because your credit determines your interest rate. The riskier the person, the higher the rate. Oh, I'll give you a loan, but I want 12%. Now, see, that's right, because you're a high risk. Well, and if you need it, you go for it, like purchasing a car. So somebody wants a car, needs a car, well, I'll give it to you, but it's going to be 18% interest rate. Like, whoa. But you know what? People buy it because they need a car. Right. It happens. It happens. So the interest rates are on the rise a little bit. But again, let's continue to say, those of you that need to sell your home, we could sell your home and save your equity. That's right. Sell your home and save your equity. 702-787-7559. Greg DeVille, Team DeVille, DeVille Realty Group. Average home price, as I mentioned, is $455,000. Some would say it's $480,000. Right now, at those interest rates, if you're in that number, right now you may want to bring your price down on your home search. Now, keep in mind, we may be coming to where sellers may begin again to helping with closing costs. Because right now, these buyers are looking at the payments have gone up from 5.25 to 6.5. So that payment went up $600. Well, not everyone's account or everyone's budget can afford an overnight $600, right? So they may have to reduce the buying power. Instead of purchasing it at $455, they may have to come down to $385. Well, what does that mean to the seller? Well, for him to get a home price, they may be a little reluctant to purchase at that price because it went up $600, not including tax and insurance. So once you talk about tax and insurance, you may be looking very well at another $900, a total increase. Like, whoa. You know, and it, especially for the first-time buyer. Now, someone who has the equity, you could, of course, buy down the rate with your next purchase using your home as leverage. You can refinance, take the cash out. Remember, you can get up to 80% using it as leverage. Now, the market is not crashing. It's just leveling itself down. The home prices will come down a bit, and that's okay. This will make it affordable to the first-time buyers. Now, those of you that are looking into $1 million home sales, you know, you've got the money to do it. Of course, you know, even in that number with a 6% interest rate, of course, still going to put you in a number more than you expected. But with great credit, remember, the better rate. All right? So the prediction is that there's going to be an increase in the interest rate even more through to the end of the year. We expect that. Roderick, Tony, thank you all for tuning in this afternoon. I want to educate the community on real estate now as it relates to buying, selling, or investment properties. Now, again, so if you do not own a home but you like to own a home, the time is now to get into it, as rates are only going to get higher. So don't let that, you know, deter you from getting in. You got to get in. Listen, I've had landlords who are sitting there. Hey, Marquetta, thank you, babe, tuning in with us. Listen, I've had landlords that are going up on rentals, and it's been some crazy numbers. So what do you do about that? There's nothing you can do. So what are you going to do? I still say get pre-approved to get into your own home. Don't stop from proceeding forward, because let's say you can get into a home for what you're paying a mortgage. What you're paying in rent, you can pay it in a mortgage, because that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of people today that the rents have gone up $400, $500. One lady, one of our clients recently went from $1,400 to $1,850 just because of the end of the month. The lease term ended. He went up $450. Well, at $1,850, guess what? $300, you can have a mortgage. And that's what we're looking at right now. You know, it's a sacrifice. Is it different than what you're accustomed to? Absolutely. But when the landlord does it, you just make it happen. Or you move out to find somewhere else. And even with that, it's going to be challenging because you've got to make 3 times the amount of rent. Right? So let's get that pre-approval. Let's make it happen. Don't be afraid. Listen, in a few years, you may have equity. That's a substantial amount that will help you use it as leverage to your next property. So let's do what we've got to do to keep the market going. Keep hope alive. Don't get discouraged. Listen, as landlords increase, interest rates increase, which would you rather have, ownership or rental? Because at the end of the day, if the landlord goes up on the rent, it may be like this person we know who last year, he went up on the rent $450, but this year, guess what? He's selling the house, so they got to totally move anyway. So now they've got to find somewhere that's $1,800 to $2,200 because that's where the rents are today. Well, with these interest rates, that's where the mortgage is too. I just told you, at a house at $455,000 at 5.25%, it's $2,300 a month. Well, I know people renting at that at that amount. 702-787-7559. Greg DeVille, Team DeVille, DeVille Realty Group, live on radio, Hot 702.5 FM. This is what we do. Every Thursday, we're talking about real estate and the advantages that are, come with having your own piece of the American dream. You've got to have your own. Now, again, it's a tough market. Is it challenging? Absolutely. Now, what we're going to start seeing, and this is just a prediction, is that more homes are going to sit on the market a little bit longer, and they'll have to adjust the price. Because although everyone's trying to get the most, but these rates are going to cause people to want to pay less, right? Because you don't want that $600 payment from, I just talked about a house at 5.25% versus 6.25% or 6.5%. That's $600 difference. But this is where the market is going today. So, but do we get discouraged? Do we stop proceeding forward? Absolutely not. As Marquetta stated, let's get pre-approved. Let's see what our buying power is. As gas prices have increased, interest rates have increased. But we didn't get an increase on the job, right? Many of you are still at that $30 an hour. But, gas has gone up. Interest rates have gone up. It just means you may not be able to buy that home at 2,300 square feet. You may have to go down to 1,500. But what you rent may be only 1,600. So why not own the house? Now, your landlord very well may be selling that property, so you'll have to relocate anyway. So why not own your own home and do away with having to move out and go through that whole notion, right? Absolutely. So for someone just tuning in, we're live on Facebook. We're live in the studio, Hot 702.5 FM, talking real estate today. If you know someone that's in financial, decline right now and their mortgage is in jeopardy, listen, referrals, we appreciate your referrals. We appreciate the plug you give for DeVille team. Our team is 42 of us on our team. What we love doing is helping families in real estate. I appreciate your referral business. I thank you for recommending us. I thank you for recommending us on Facebook to your friends, to your family, to your loved ones. Thank you so much. We want to appreciate all of you. And don't forget, I need your referral business. I need your business to continue to do what we're doing. We need your continued support in helping us get this job done. Our assignment is to help families get in or out of real estate. If you need to sell your real estate, this is what we're here to do. We're here to help get it done. Now, again, I don't want to get away from those of you that need to sell your property. We have buyers that are approved right now, ready and approved. They are pre-approved and ready to go. Now, if you got a property you think you need to sell because you've been waiting on a modification and it just hasn't happened, 702-787-7559. Greg DeVille, Team DeVille, DeVille Realty Group. This is what we do. Hey, Mother Jordan, how are you today? So glad you tuned in with us. We're doing our Thursday talk show about real estate. We helped Miss Mary Jordan. Miss Jordan got her property. Been knowing her for years. And she called us to get going. And guess what? We found a property that she loved. It worked out. We were able to negotiate that transaction and get you that property. This is what we do at Team DeVille. We're here to help get it done. Now, again, don't forget, if you need to sell that home, because I'm running into a lot of families who say, I don't know what to do. I'm behind. They won't work with me on the loan modification. Where do I go from here? And many of you are stressing unnecessarily when our assignment, Team DeVille, is to help eliminate and get rid of that stress in your life. Worrying about if they're going to. I had a gentleman just recently come into the office who said he was hoping to get a modification, but he wanted to know what other alternatives are available. So he said, what if they don't give me the modification and I'm behind and I can't catch up? He says, the only thing next was and he couldn't refinance it because, remember, your FICO score has to be a certain place. And if you're in default, you can't. If you're 1 month late in 12 months, If you got a 30-day in 1 year, you cannot cash out refi. I don't care what your score is. The lenders will not do a cash out refinance. You have to have 12 months on time to do a cash out refinance, as well as you have to have a FICO score of at least a 640, 50 or better. But again, it's determined on the lenders. The lenders will tell you more about that. But again, if you want information, contact my team, 702-787-7559. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for tuning in today. We appreciate you so much tuning in. Listen, we appreciate your referral business. In order to keep doing what we're doing, we need your referrals. Very, very important, because we can't continue at this level without community support. So I'm asking you to continue. Tell a friend, reach out, and give them my personal number. If you know us, contact us personally. It's okay. Someone say, can I give out your number? Let me say it live on Facebook. You certainly can give out my phone number. I want to hear from the community. I want to assist families in getting things done. If it's buying, selling, or investing, DeVille Realty, Team DeVille, we're here to help. 702-787-7559. Or you can contact my Northwest location, 702-515-4100. Greg DeVille, Team DeVille, DeVille Realty Group. We're so excited to do what we're doing and continue with the support of the community, getting things done right here in the Valley. So, credit restoration, many of you, get your credit on track. While you're in a new lease, some people got into a new lease, work on that credit. Listen, there's a young lady who comes on the radio here at Hot 7025. She does credit. We call the station. I'd love to get her information. She does credit here. We'd love to send her to business. If you need credit restoration, listen, contact the team. Contact us at 702-787-7559. Her name is Danny. She does a talk show here for credit. So again, contact my team. We'll put you in touch with those that do credit, 702-787-7559. We want to help. If you just signed the lease or you're in a lease, but your credit isn't where it needs to be, guess what? There's Danny and so many others that do credit restoration. Let them help you. Now, let me say this, because you can do it yourself. FYI, you can do your own credit, right? It's just a matter of getting a printout. You may want to get with Danny, get a printout, see where you are. Reach out to your debtors, right? They love to make a payment arrangement, pay it off, get it done, and get that receipt paid in full. And then you want to send that to the credit bureaus, right? So that they can see it's paid in full, and they will remove it from your credit. And go back in there and change some of the old address. There are so many things you can do to get your FICO up. So while you're in that lease, take the opportunity, work on getting your credit score. Because next year, when the lease expires, you just never know. The landlord may sell that home. What are you going to do? At least you will have positioned yourself to be pre-approved to purchase a home. So whether buying, selling, or investing, DeVille Realty can help. This is what we do. Don't forget, 702-787-7559. Greg DeVille, Team DeVille, DeVille Realty Group. Now, I want to give a special shout out to Marlin's Closet. They're on H and Owens. Marlin's Closet. They great apparel over there. We want to support that black-owned business, support that business, and so that it stays afloat. We know how the market is right now. It can be a bit challenging, but we definitely want to give shout out to Marlin's Closet. Go by and patronize that great team over there. And they've got some fabulous items and product in their store. Also want to give a special shout out to Twin Star Motors, the twin Carrie and Jerry over there at Twin Star Motors, Sunset and Windy Road. For more information, contact my team. They have the number there at the office. But I want to give them a shout out. They were on my mind today. Twin Star Motors, I needed oil change. So I thought about it. I said, I got to get my Benz. And they're Mercedes-Benz specialists, okay? Twin Star Motors, Mercedes-Benz specialists. So, if you've got a Benz, you're not sure what's knocking and ticking on it or whatever, Twin Star, Google them. They're right there, Windy Road and Sunset across from Town Square. 702-787-7559. Greg DeVille, Team DeVille. Live on the radio. giving out information. We got report today of some crazy interest rate numbers. Went up 0.75%. Like, whoa. But don't be discouraged, because don't be like the lady who said last year she's going to wait for this year that things may get, go down. Because somebody been prophesying, the rates, the market going to crash and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, the prophet lied that, it didn't go down. It went up. And so what does that cause her? That caused her to be priced out now. That's right. So don't wait. The market gets higher. It only gets worse. So go now. You wait. The spirit of procrastination has been all over you. Now, when the rates were at 4.25, you thought it was high. Well, now they're at 6.25. So you're going to keep waiting, or do you contact my team at 702-787-7559? Contact the team, and guess what we're going to do? We're going to help you get positioned for your buying power now. Can we do that? You got to contact the team. We appreciate you. And again, thank you for your referrals in advance. We want to make sure that we're getting that business and keeping that business afloat. How many of you know that's why we give out shout outs to Marlon's Closet to help that business? We give shout out to Twin Star Motors. We want to help that business. So for DeVille Realty Group, we need your help to stay afloat in this business as well, as we're facing some challenging times in the real estate. Now, the last 2 years have been phenomenal. But as it is right now, with the rates going up, I want to continue to help you, because as I mentioned a moment ago, the lady last year said that she's going to wait till the market, kind of reduces in number, and that's been a year now, and it only increased in number. So what did that do for her? It priced her out. Where at 340, 380, I think she was able to purchase a home, but she decided to wait because she heard rumor it was going to crash. Well, again, we're not going to crash, because listen, if you in the last 3 years, if you owned a home, I would have hoped you did a refinance, because the interest rates have gone down really, really well. And I know we just went to a 2.99 from 4.25. And so it was a great time to take it. And many did. If I could speak to some of the lenders, they would say many families have refinanced. Although they weren't able to do the cash out, they did refinance to a lower interest rate. So many are at a great rate in the under 3s, 2s. So there's no way to crash on those numbers because they're so low, right? And most families today have equity in their home, right? So the worst case that we'll see is home prices leveling off, right? Leveling off. So whereas people were getting $30,000 increase on their homes, and again, some of the appraisers were, given higher numbers in value that was like, wow, and so, but again, we're just expecting a nice leveling off, keep things, and in some cases, as I have a property right now that we're going to consider a price reduction, because when we look at the price of the house and the interest rate, most people won't be able to afford it at that number on an average. Some of our local community, workers who, like I said, they didn't get an increase on the job. Although the interest rate went up and the home prices went up, their increase on the job did not, that job, it stayed right there. So whereas, values went up $600 because the interest rate went up, well, they didn't get an increase of $600. So that means that they're going to have to come down on value. So versus at $480 at a medium home price, they might have to come down to $4 or $380, because that brings their payment down, right? That's right. So they need that number to. One lady said, "I don't want to be house poor." I agree. You don't want to be house poor, but you need a house. You need a home. You need your own. So as I mentioned to some of you, say you own a home, but let's say that home, you want a single story. Let's talk about that for a moment, because I'm meeting a lot of our seniors and a lot of those who've had some knee surgeries, back, and the stairs are being a bit challenging. You can actually purchase another home. We have to sell your home, get you pre-approved for a home purchase. But because you have a great substantial amount of equity, you can buy down the principal. So let's say, for example, you're purchasing a home at 600, but you have 300,000 in equity in your home. So we sell your home. So instead of you purchasing that home at 600,000, you're going to put 300 on it. So now you're only financing 300,000 versus that 600. But we're going to simply use the equity that's in your home. Can we do that? So the equity that's in your home, let's sell the home. So what we're going to do is contact the lender and let's talk about, okay, if I sell my home, how much buying power will I have? Well, based on your debt to income, let's, again, for example only, let's say you qualify at 600,000, but you're getting equity out of your home. Let's say it's only 200,000, but you put that 2 on that 6, you're financing 4, which makes your payment less than if you would have financed it at the whole 600. For any more details on that, contact my team and myself. Contact me directly, 702-787-7559. I want to take a moment to explain that one more time. You have equity in your home. Your home has 200,000. Average homes have a little more than 200. If you haven't in the last 3 years, you very well could become. I have families who've had 400,000. Just depending on where you're at, and if you've done the upgrades that a lot of families have done, the wood floors, the granite counters, the updated shutters, the lawn front and back. Have you done the upgrades that gets credit for your price? So maybe you put a pool in. A pool could give you up to $30,000 to $40,000 credit, right? So again, we can see where the values are at your property. Now, when you talk about, because a home is on the market down the street for 520, but the last sold home was 480, you can't count the 520 home. You can only count the home that's sold, because keep in mind, appraisers use most recent sold properties, not actively available properties. So it has to be a sold property. And any other questions on that, feel free to contact me at 702-787-7559. Sold properties only. I do have an agent who said, well, the home is 450 down the street. It's the exact home, but it hasn't sold. The one that sold was 390. So you're going up 50, or I think it was 410 or 420, but you want to place it where the other person is, but he hasn't got an offer on his either. Neither have you, right? So something's not right. Nobody's willing to pay that much for a home. Now, some of the new home builders, let me say this. Those of you who are considering going to the new home builder, do not go with an agent, because if you go with an agent, you're going without representation. At DeVille Realty, we offer free buyer representation. That's right, no cost to you. Free buyer representation with DeVille Realty Group. So we go in, we represent you. The seller or the builder pays the commission. We represent you absolutely free. So free 99. We're here to help get it done. You don't go to court without an attorney, unless you're an attorney or you know the law. But 98% of people go with an attorney. When you go to purchase a home, don't go without representation. You need representation. At DeVille Realty, free buyer representation. We're here to help get it done. For the lingo that you don't understand, you don't buy homes every day, so you don't understand the lingo. Maybe you're a first-time buyer. You don't know the lingo. Maybe you're a savage. You're experienced in buying homes. But, I still say you need representation. Thank you. She said they really need to listen to what you're saying. Trying to help them like you helped. Thank you. Okay, I appreciate that, Marcel. Yeah, Marcel, Ireland. So we got Marcel in. Marcel is one of our buyers. Thank you, Marcel, man. Yeah, we, listening to us live on Facebook, Marcel, many of you, we've helped get into homes. And we want to thank you for your referral business. Thank you for telling a friend. Thank you for giving the word out. Thank you for liking us on Facebook and recommending us on Facebook and telling people about what we do. Because we're in this for the long haul. This is not a fly-by-night business. It's not make all I can and go. No, I've been in real estate over 40 years. I've been in the sales side over the last 15 years. And this is what I do. I've helped countless numbers of families. And again, I appreciate your referral business. I thank you in advance for continuing to keep DeVille Realty afloat. Because without you, our doors in our 3 locations could possibly be shut down. So we're saying thank you in advance to continue to support what we're doing, and that's helping the community. So Marcel Island, man, thank you, man, for allowing DeVille Realty. Miss Clay, thank you for allowing DeVille Realty to help you, man. Now he's at Republic Services, and guess what? Marcel, man, has been telling folks, and we've been helping people, and guess what? It's what we do. So again, thank you for the referral business so much that it's kept us. Wow, we're going on our 6th year in DeVille Realty Group, 7 years on radio. Isn't that great? We've been doing radio 7 years, 3 to 4 days a week, helping families do what we do. So I'm going to be preparing to be getting out of here shortly, but I want to recap just for a moment and let many of you understand. Selling your home, getting the equity, you can purchase another home. Now, maybe you can't refinance that home because your scores aren't where they need to be. But to purchase a home, you only need a mere 600 credit score. In fact, VA veterans, we appreciate you. Many of you can get in at a 580. You know, veterans, they have more grace toward the veterans, right? So even your interest rate veterans are a little bit less. But again, so buy down the principal. As I mentioned to you before, say you sell your home, you're walking away with $200,000. Now, what you're going to do, now, there's a thing called a 1031 tax exchange. The 1031 exchange, many of you are able to, the capital gains, as long as you use that money towards, right, getting into another property through the 1031 exchange. For more information, talk to your tax accountant on that. The 1031 exchange, meaning you're taking that money, you're putting it into another real estate, which can help you in many cases avoid the tax, because you're going from one real estate right into another real estate. Now, in many cases, you have up to 1 year to use that 1031 exchange to avoid tax consequences. So let's say you want to use that home, use that equity, that 2-story is not functioning. Or let's say you want a pool, like myself. I want a swimming pool, but my yard, I don't want to put it in this yard. I want a yard with a pool already, because I want an RV park. Some things I want, but guess how we plan to do it? By using the equity in the home, right? Take the equity, use it as leverage, right? Not to get a car or a truck, because you can't make money with it, unless you're like the lady I met last week. Now, so she was at a network mixer that I stopped by, and shout out to my friend Devin Moore. Devin had this mixer, and so I came by to support and, you know, network as usual, you know, the king of network, right? So I'm there, and she said, Greg DeVille, I listen to you on the radio all the time. She said, I took your advice. She said, I refinanced my home, I took money out, and I bought a vehicle, because she has a business. And the vehicle she purchased was an SUV that she can use for multi-purpose, right? She could use it to carry her product. And I jumped up for joy about that, because to think, you know, what you're saying, people take you on what you're saying, and she made it work. She said, I bought an SUV. I'm able to, she has a store of products that she sells. Well, she does a lot of vending services. And she said, I took the money, paid cash for my vehicle, for my business. But she did it with the equity in her home. So that's what I'm explaining to you. Don't just take the equity to just buy something new. Make it work for you. You know, in her case, it adds residual income. Now, when she needs to haul something, it has a hitch. If she needs to put a trailer, if her products get, you know, that she needs more. But she can also, she had a 3rd row seat that gave her the space for those times she needs to carry product, but then the time she needs to be a family, she can let those seats back, right? So multifaceted, but got it done with the equity that's in your home. And so that's the advantage to owning a home versus renting. Now, let me share this with you. The landlord is doing just that on your dime. So the landlord, while you pay his home off, he takes the equity out, and he goes out and he does exactly what he needs to do, whether it's using it to purchase another home, to make another somebody pay the rent, which means in essence, you're paying the mortgage. Wow. To think. Many people have paid people's mortgage off. And I met a lady at 80 years old. She had been living in this house for 11 years. And she paid the mortgage off for the landlord. And she got a phone call last year that he was selling the house. So not only did she pay the mortgage off, but now she's got to move. Wow. Still makes me say wow today. And so that's why it's so important that I share with the community that, listen, let me show you how to get your own piece of the American pie. Now, those of you who own a home and you want to take the advantage of, getting another property, you don't have to sell. You can cash out, refinance, use the equity to purchase your next home, keep that home as a rental. I meet many who say they don't want to be a landlord, but there's property management services that can take over. I don't do that. I don't do property management. But there are services that they can provide to do the property management for you. So you don't have, but remember, if you were to cash out, refinance, you can only get up to 80%. But if you sell it, you can get the whole 100%. So on $235,000 equity, you can get 180. But you might be able, that 180 may work for you, right? Because you could use it as leverage to buy down the principal on the next piece of property. Or you could buy a fourplex. Now, the fourplex was residual income. So maybe your home is fine, maybe you're okay, but you could take 100,000, 150, 200,000 out of your home. Purchase one of these fourplex units. Residual income. The units will pay for themselves. They already rented out, right? So they pay for themselves. These are opportunities that are available that Greg DeVille, Team DeVille, we help bring to your attention. Because residual income, now we talk about a retirement plan. Let your retirement plan be what? Not a 401k, because they go down to a 201k, right? But real estate by far is a great investment, because with real estate, somebody's always going to need a place to stay. They're going to always have to have a rental. Now, although if you've been renting for the last 3 years and you owned a home before, but you've been 3 years, that you're a first-time buyer. So the advantage to that is you can purchase a home with 3.5% down. So don't let it, because the interest rates are going up, you can still get down with 3.5%. So 3.5% of 300, that's 10,500. So just to keep in mind, right? 300,000. So do the math. Let's say you're at 500,000 approval. Well, the cap is right around 5 for the first-time buyer, FHA. But for more information, I'm not a lender. I'm a realtor. As a realtor, my job is to make you aware of what's available to you and set you in the proper hands of the proper persons to get you set up. Again, my team contact is 702-787-7559. My wife is saying the affordable housing with the boxables and the manufactured homes. Now, we did take a tour of the boxable homes. So these boxable homes they're not approved yet. They're working diligently on getting the approval from the state and the local level approvals that are required. These boxable homes, so they're prefab, they make them in a warehouse, they'll be bringing them to the lots, but you have to buy the property, you'll have to get the foundation, you'll have to have the plumbing, electrical ready, so when they deliver the house. But it hasn't happened yet, but just know you heard it first here on Greg DeVille Let's Talk Real Estate Show about the boxable homes, okay? So you have to purchase the land. Now, many of you can purchase land, as land right now is fairly reasonable. Purchasing the land kind of puts you in, when the boxable homes get approved, you'll have somewhere to put the boxable. They're starting out at $49,000 up to about $89,000. Putting them together, but they're boxable. And so we did take a tour recently. Very highly insulated, actually pretty nice. The builders won't be able to charge all those astronomical prices as they have been. But again, if you're going to consider going to a new home builder, please contact Team DeVille. We'd love to go along with you so that you have representation. Do not buy a car if you've never purchased a car without taking someone that knows about purchasing a car. If you're going to purchase a home and you've never purchased a home, take someone with you that knows about purchasing a home. We know what to look for. You go in there, the lady or the gentleman there at the new home builder, they're nice, but they represent the builder. They are not your representation. They're nice to you. They make you feel like they work for you. But at the end of the day, they have no negotiating power for you because they are solely employed by the new home builder. So, FYI, you need representation. Hopefully, you will contact Team DeVille. If not, get with a realtor before you visit. But if you want to educate it, been in the game, know this business, DeVille Realty would be the ones you want to contact at 702-787-7559. Tell a friend for us. We want to make sure we're helping as many as we can. Is that all right? So look, my time is up. I have given great information. I hope that will help take you to the next dimension of what you're expecting to do, whether buying, selling, or investing. DeVille Realty can help. This is what I do, live on Facebook, live in the studio, 702.5 FM, Thursday afternoon. What a great time to look at real estate, look at investment properties, and keep yourself in the game. Keep yourself in the game. My engineer says, look, you got 5 minutes. You better work it out. Listen, selling, as a recap, those of you that need to sell, contact myself personally. I want to hear from you. I want to do a free comparative market analysis. I want to tell you, you want to know what your home is worth? Contact 702-787-7559. You want to know what your home is worth? I can tell you what your home is worth. I have the ability to look up properties and do comparisons. Okay? I'll do a comparable, let you know what things are selling for. Don't trust Zillow, Trulia. Those guys are off. You want an experience. That's a computer. Somebody over there, let the computer run it for you. Let me help you. This is what we do from a live body. Greg DeVille, Team DeVille, DeVille Realty Group. 702-787-7559. So my wife said, talk about purchasing land. Well, again, so if you have equity in your home or you have some money saved, maybe buy some land right now. Prepare for what's to come. Many have invested in land years ago in Vegas, and their monies have literally tripled because, well, a lot of land is getting bought out by many of these home builders that are buying large pieces of land to put communities in them. But if you see a piece of land somewhere, certainly we have a few pieces of property available that are just land. You want more information on that, give us a call at 702-787-7559. There's some property available. You want to put it to the side. You have some money. You want to look at maybe when this boxable gets approved about putting, they're right now they're like little casitas. They're about 700 square feet, if that. But they do have the ability to attach rooms and go up. So they're actually, we're just waiting on the approval. The government has already ordered over 100, but that's for like military housing. But we're waiting on state, local approvals. Different cities. You're going to have North Las Vegas and Henderson. They'll have to approve it in each city. But we need the state's approval, and then the city of whichever city wants to allow it. Okay. But hey, get you a piece of land, if you will. Get prepared for what's to come. Is that right? So if you need to sell your home, I want to help you get it done. I have buyers approved and ready to go up to about $850,000. They're looking for properties, so it doesn't matter where your property is. Let us get you a free comparative market analysis. They call it a CMA to find out where your values are. Is that all right? 702-787-7559. Greg DeVille, Team DeVille, DeVille Realty Group. Shout out to the lovely, the beautiful, my queen, Marquetta DeVille. We're having fun helping families. And again, I appreciate your referral business for sharing DeVille Realty with so many. We thank you in advance. We appreciate you. Look, we're coming up on the weekend, so whatever you're going to do this weekend, be safe. Watch out for the man next door. If you're going to drink, don't drive. Please get a designated driver. Look, I'm going to prepare to get out of here. I want to talk to you again next week. Have a great weekend. Until I talk to you then, may God's best be yours. Take care.